Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of Xcelerated Reviews, your destination for product reviews and unboxing. Today we're going to be discussing the iPhone 6. So with the iPhone 6 introduction, you include a 4.7-inch screen, which is a little bit larger than the previous generation, which was only 4-inch tall screen. And they also, of course, introduced the iPhone 6 Plus. In this particular case, we're going to be covering the regular iPhone 6. So let's get started. In this particular example, I'm showing you an iPhone 6 with 64 gigs of storage. One of the things that was very interesting with the iPhone 6 is that you're able to pick up the additional 64 gigs of storage, or up to 64 gigs of storage, for only $100 more, at least within the US market. Now, one of the other important parts of this upgrade is that they increase not only the screen size, but also the video and computation power of the phone. So it's really a great upgrade in my opinion. Of course, that is just an opinion. And of course, with any of these reviews and unboxings, we assume no legal liability. And of course, you're making your own decisions. Let's get started. So the boxing itself is very generic and plain, just like every other iPhone packaging prior. They do have the outside of the phone a little bit kind of embossed on the box. I noticed that was a little bit different than the previous iPhones, which I do have videos for the iPhone 5 and iPhone 5S, which I'll include links to in the notes. Now, relating to the iPhone 6 itself, I'll cover that in just a second. In terms of what you get in the box, you get your normal set of instructions and stickers and stuff like that. Not too much use. They include just a regular set of headphones. I always like to put in these nice little clear cases here, but I of course already took out the headphones. I already put them over here. I've already started using them. The headphones are actually the same ones that they've had for several generations. Candidly speaking, I think they've had the same set of headphones for like the last 3 or 4 phones. I'm hoping that with the acquisition of the Beats Corporation, the famous Beats by Dr. Dre, I'm hoping that they'll come out with some better headphones in the future. But as for now, the iPhone 6 is just the regular straight headphones that you've had before. Nothing special. Of course, you do have the charging block here. An important point, at least from my experience, when upgrading to the iPhone 6, I did experience a issue where when I tried to use a prior generation charging block, it did not like it. It gave me a little bit of I think it was some kind of a warning message that that it was not a supported accessory or something like that. So I switched it out and used the provided charging block here, and that helped out a lot. So definitely try to use the one that it comes with it. The iPhone 6, like several of its predecessors, does feature the lightning cable. It has a USB connector, so you can plug it into your PC or Mac, and of course it features the connection here to the phone, which is reversible, so you can plug it in either way. That's kind of handy. I mentioned before, I kind of wish they would just use regular straight USB and USB micro on the other end, but for whatever reason, they like to use this lightning cable. The lightning cable has been around since the iPhone, I believe iPhone 5 and up. So that, of course, is included. Basically, that's it. I mean, there's really nothing else here in the box. That's pretty much exactly what you can expect. Now, in terms of the phone itself, let's go over some of the basics. Now, the phone, of course, does have the larger screen, 4.7 inches. The iPhone 6 also does include the fingerprint scanner, which was already present in the iPhone 5S, so nothing major there. As mentioned in the iPhone 5S review that I did, I honestly don't have too much use for the fingerprint scanner for unlocking the phone. Basically, I find it easier to just punch in the quick key code, PIN code, rather than trying to use the fingerprint scanner, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, even on the iPhone 6. Now you can use the fingerprint recognition along with the near field element for the Apple Pay. However, at the time of this recording, I have not actually even had a chance to use that because I have not yet seen any locations actually featuring Apple Pay. I know they talked about how many different businesses would start using it, but at the time of this recording, which has already been a couple months since the launch of the iPhone 6, I have yet to see any locations using it. Hopefully they'll have that soon. But it's an option anyways. Now, the iPhone 6 is actually a little bit thinner than its previous version. Not too noticeably so, but it is a little bit thinner. One of the things that I really noticed is how the camera it sits out a bit from the back of the phone. Honestly, that's very annoying. The phone does not lay flat because of that. It sits up a little bit because it's sitting on the raised edge for the camera aperture. And basically, it's just really annoying. I wish they had made it more flat with the phone. It would have been so much easier because it sometimes snags when you're trying to put it in like a case or in your pocket or something. Another major change is that they moved the lock button from the top to the side. That's to help people be able to use the phone more effectively, given the fact that it is a little bit larger and a little bit harder to hold in your hand. I think in the end it kind of encourages you to use your offhand so that you can hit the lock button through that means. On the other side, you still have the volume up and down and the vibrate switch there, same as before. The base of the phone still has the lightning dock connector, and of course still has the headphone jack at the base of the phone. It takes a little while getting used to that if you haven't already had one at the base, but eventually you'll try to get used to it. Let's talk about another major con, honestly, in regards to the phone, and that is the fact that the surface is very slippery. I'm not sure why they decided to make the surface so slick. It really has a very artificial, kind of almost cheap plastic feel to it. It's got this kind of clear plastic overlay, it seems. And unfortunately, it makes the phone so darn slick. And even the backing of the phone is very slick. And as a result, it is so easy to drop this phone. Very, very easy. And if you've seen a couple other reviews out on the internet, the iPhone 6 has been known to have structural concerns where people are able to bend the iPhone itself. And I definitely believe that to be the case. I mean, just looking at this one itself, even I can see a little bit of a bend to it that's occurred naturally. And again, just being so darn slick, it's really hard to keep from dropping it. So you might want to consider investing in a case or some other protection for that. Now, once you get around that and you're actually using the iPhone, it's actually very easy to use, same as any other iPhone. You do get a little bit more screen real estate. Basically, that translates into basically one more extra row of icons for your application. Nothing major. I mean, I'm not too excited about that. It's nice for watching movies, but actually, again, I still didn't notice a huge difference with that. Now, in terms of the increase in the computation power, that did help. For example, I do have some apps that I sometimes use which capture video and compress the video, things like that. I found that the iPhone 6 compared to the iPhone 5S was considerably faster. Just roughly guessing maybe 50-60% faster with that. And playing games, which I will try to include here, some on-screen display of this, actually using the phone here. But basically, playing games was very nice. If you're playing a game that is designed for the iPhone 6, it does look really good and performs really well. So I'll definitely give it credit for that. And like I said, in terms of weight, I feel like it's actually a little bit lighter than the iPhone 5S, and I think maybe that's just because it's bigger, and so it doesn't feel as concentrated. I think for me, I actually prefer the little bit heavier, sturdier feel of the iPhone 5 and 5S because it really felt more solid and sturdy, and you weren't as afraid of breaking it. And this one, it's a little thinner, it's bigger, it kind of feels like it's a little more fragile to me. And so that just pointing that out as an opinion. In relation to getting the 64 gigs of storage, I did do that in this case. With a prior generation phone, I only had 16 gigs of storage. And I did run into cases where listening to podcasts and things like that was running out of space. So having the 64 gig option, which was only $100 more, again, at the time of this recording here in the US, to me it was worth it because I'm much more able to listen to podcasts, record videos, and take pictures and things like that. And I don't really have to worry about space too much. It's just plenty of room. So I really do appreciate that improvement there. I think that's just about it. I mean, the camera quality, I think in the iPhone 6 is about the same as the 5S, honestly. I do know that Apple mentioned that they did make some improvements in terms of the video and the audio, video and picture processing. However, for me, it was about the same. I may be a little bit better, but not anything huge. The iPhone 6 is not the one that includes a major redesign of the optics. That's only available in the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, you might be asking, should you get the Plus? Well, of course, that's your decision. I accept no legal liability. That's your own choice. For me, if I was talking to a friend, I'd probably say no. I'd probably skip the Plus because the iPhone 6 as it is already bigger, and it already takes a while to get used to being so big. And the 6 Plus to me is like carrying around a tablet for a phone. I actually saw a individual who appeared to have a Plus and use a holster case, which I also use a holster case. And with the Plus being in a holster case that big, honestly, it looked kind of stupid because it was so big. It looked like the guy had a laptop, strapped to his belt. And I mean, seriously, it did, and it just looked goofy. For me, even with the iPhone 6 being as big as it is, sitting inside a holster case, it already feels just too big. And again, I know other people like to just put them in the pockets and stuff like that. again, even the iPhone 6 being as big as it is can be a burden sometimes. I would hate to imagine trying to put a plus in your pocket as well without being in the way. I think that's about it. I mean, those are the major features. If you already have a 5S or a 5, and especially 5S, and you're not due for an upgrade, and you're considering the 6, do you want to upgrade or not? Maybe not. Like I said, it's nice. It's nice having a little bit larger screen. It's nice having the faster CPU and graphics capability. That's nice, but overall, I was not as impressed as I thought I would be. And as mentioned before, having the raised edge on the phone, raised edge for the camera on the phone, very annoying, very annoying. And again, just a really slick surface. You're going to have to put it in some protective case, which just makes the size of the phone even more, intrusive. And I haven't seen any real use of the Apple Pay yet for my location. Again, maybe you'll have better luck with that, or in the coming months or the next year. But as of now, I've been a little bit disappointed with it. But that said, it is still an iPhone, and iPhones are still just wonderful phones. I really love the apps that you can find on there, and many of the apps are being upgraded for iPhone 6 to take advantage of the larger screen. So hopefully over time it becomes a more worthwhile investment. So that's my candid review, and hope you found it helpful. And if you haven't already and considering which phones to look at, please check out the reviews for the iPhone 5 and 5S and compare and contrast them to the 6th. And also, please take a moment to subscribe here on YouTube, and definitely look forward to introducing other reviews coming up, such as the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, the Wii U, for all you gamers out there. So definitely look forward to having those reviews coming out soon. So I hope you take a moment to subscribe and post a comment if you would like. Thank you very much.